Curiosity. What are you so curious about? Everything, Mr. Curiosity.
All right, folks, from let's go counterclockwise from right to left. It's digital director Shawn, morning anchor Big John, and morning queen of TV Mindi, and myself, Joe. Are you ready to rock and roll?
I was ready for you to say Big Mindy, and I was gonna
What
say
did I say?
something. You said Big John,
And then you
said Queen of Mornings.
You know,
Isn't
it's
that
funny
funny?
because it's
Why-
okay for him to say Big
John, but if
about
I
me.
said Big Mindy, you're
I'd be
right.
mad.
I think because immediately when you think Big John, you're thinking height.
Right.
Or to say Big someone else, maybe
You're thinking width.
thinking weight.
What if I said something like Big Butted Mindy?
Then
Would
I'd
that
be
be-
upset.
I don't think I'd like to hear that either, actually.
I know.
There's
Unless
no way to
it
walk
was-
that back.
Unless
No.
it was in. Maybe it's a J-Lo thing. I don't know.
Yeah.
True.
I just randomly said that, Mindy. I
Okay.
don't mean
Did
that
we
in any
start
way.
already? Are we
started-
I think
yeah,
we're
we
on the
started.
air.
This
Okay.
is it, but
All right.
we have to tell everyone we were talking about before the podcast. She wants headphones now. And why, Mindy?
Because with the headphones, you feel so important, and it's just you feel like you're really on, or like on the
They're
radio.
not plugged in, so you wouldn't hear anything.
Go put the headphones on.
It takes it to a whole new level.
It does.
See, I tried them the first time, and to me, it was too much of like my own voice, and I felt isolated from the world. I hate them.
Oh, I kind
But
of
you're
like
right.
it.
When you see all podcasters, they have the headset
Yeah,
on.
and you're hearing your voice in your ears.
Well, let's
and-
go to the digital director. Why is that so prevalent in podcasts? I don't get it. Like,
I think it's a preference thing. I think
but why would anyone want that? I wonder.
In radio, they
What's
do
the
it.
purpose?
It's funny because you don't need it with
That's
what
what I
we're
mean. So
doing.
what's the
Well, I would
purpose?
say with the headphones, you for sure know that you're like recording and
Oh,
hearing
that's true.
the
You're
other
hearing your
people.
voice.
So I guess maybe that's part
In
of it.
radio, they're doing it because if they're playing sound effects
Yeah,
or
but
all
That's
those
true.
kind of things.
That's true.
Want me
yeah.
to go get them?
No, I'm good. I'll be fine.
Maybe they have a
I've
producer
gotten-
talking in their ear.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I've gotten
As soon
over
as you
it.
put them on, though, then I feel like I have to
It's
do
a
like
whole-
an NPR voice or something
Yes,
like
it's
that.
a whole different vibe. So you want to stay relaxed. And
I'll just stay
chill.
relaxed. I'm good.
All right,
Next
well,
time,
remember.
though, we can bust out some headphones for
Okay.
you.
Bust them out
Just for
it.
Mindy.
All right, thanks.
All right, so remember, everyone, this podcast is only as good as you make it. So get your questions to brownbag@wnep.com. Brown
know,
bag,
we-
one word, brownbag@wnep.com.
We've had guests for a long time, and now it's just the three of us and Shawn.
But
Yeah.
why don't we? 2 weeks ago, you weren't here.
I wasn't here.
because you were Big Shot in Florida.
Oh,
Big
that's
shot.
right.
And then,
Yes.
did you miss the previous 2
No,
weeks?
Jake was here for that. Don Jacobs.
So,
Oh, yeah.
So you only really missed one episode.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But we've had a string of guests.
We've had a string of, and we want to just say just us now,
Just
Yeah.
us.
the core crew.
That's right. Plus Sean. Why is
Sean's
not
core.
Sean,
Why
you're
is
core.
Sean's core now.
Because
Well, you
even if
did
Sean's
say-
not an on the mic guest, he's making this all possible.
Yeah, he's
That's
core.
true.
He's now officially core.
Okay. All right.
He's a part of the Brown
Core,
Bag team.
core adjacent.
There you go.
All right, who's picking the questions from the great viewers first? We have
Mindy.
This
Let's
thing is
let
almost
Mindy go
full, so
first.
keep them
Am I
coming.
going first?
We're going to try to move a little
She was
fast, but who
insulted
knows?
like right off the bat.
Lightning
so I
round?
think she deserved
I
it.
don't know if we want to get.
I went deep.
We don't want to deplete them too much.
No.
Oh, and look, you know what I did today?
Oh, wait a minute, folks.
Oh, this is a big
See,
moment.
here's why you have to not only listen but watch on YouTube. She put on
Or WNP Plus.
Glasses.
or
Yes.
digital WDP. What
Yes.
is it again? How's the
WNP
word?
Plus.
Yes.
WNP Plus.
Yeah, I can't.
Had to put in
Anyway,
the
she
plug.
has her librarian glasses on. Mindy, did you just get new frames? Because they look really good.
Well, no, these are just readers that I got because I have multifocal contact lenses that I use, right? Because I can't see far away.
Okay.
And now I can't see close up as I age. But it's gotten so bad that now my multifocals don't work.
So
So I
seeing
need extra
close.
help for seeing close.
Did you ever see those little tiny mini Bibles?
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
I have such good close vision, I can read those.
Are you
can.
serious?
Yes. At my 59 years old.
No.
Yeah.
So you don't have any problem with your vision
No, but it
reading?
compensates from a distance. I can't see anything.
So you don't have contacts or anything?
No.
like that?
So you don't. But
I
you
tried,
do wear
but it
glasses.
takes too long to.
Now, if you had watched the Top Secret Forecast on WNEP Plus, you would have already heard him talking about he can't wait to park his car in the garage, cook a pierogi.
He doesn't have time to cook food. He just has to eat it raw. Yes.
It takes too long.
But, you know, it's amazing because
Well, I'd
once you
rather
do
squint.
that,
That's why I have crow's feet. I squint when I look at distance, then everything's clear.
if you took less than 5 minutes to put your contacts in, then you could see all day long. All
but
day.
squinting is just as good for
No,
me.
it's not. It really. When you're on a bicycle going 60 miles an hour, don't you need to be able to see where you're going? Okay.
Shut up and read the
All right,
question.
put the glasses back on.
Put the glasses back on. I'm so frustrated with my vision at this point. All right. Dear morning crew. Oh,
Ooh.
this is from Travis.
Oh, hi, Travis.
That's all
Hi,
right, that's
Trav.
all right.
I'm going to start calling him Trav.
Trav.
We're close. I have a hypothetical question for you. You make $100,000 for every one donut you eat, but you also gain 10 pounds for every donut you eat. The only way to lose weight is by working out. How many donuts are you going to eat?
Well, wait a minute.
So,
Is this like in one
100,000
sitting?
I mean, I guess so.
Because that's pretty good money. I eat one donut a year and then,
Yeah, you got $100,000.
yes.
But maybe you were going to get greedy. Maybe you decided you wanted that lake house like John Mayer has.
Oh.
Yeah.
You're definitely right.
Yeah.
I need, oh my God, it would become like a drug addiction.
It would.
It would.
You
And
wouldn't
then
be able to
before-
just eat
You
one a
wouldn't,
year.
no,
Well,
yeah.
you know, you're morbidly obese,
Yeah.
sitting in a bed of millions.
Yes.
I guarantee
This is
you.
the thing that starts out like, I'll just eat a dozen, and I'll just take the whole year to work that
work
weight
it off, but you can't work it
then
off.
You can't work it off, and then you start eating
And you
more,
still want
and then
more.
it's like this vicious cycle.
I
Yeah.
wonder if that is something,
like,
wow,
yeah.
that he really hit on. Is it possible to refrain?
Right.
I don't think it would be. I think you would have that one donut and instantly you'd have $100,000. And you're like, what?
Yeah, but then you look in the mirror and you're 10 pounds
I
larger.
know, but then another one and you're 200,000?
Because that first 10 pounds, you're like, I barely notice.
Yeah, you're like, my jeans still sort of fit.
And then that next 10 pounds, you're like,
you-
okay, I can still work this off. Next thing you know,
Could this be a
you're
reality
dozen in.
show we do?
Wow.
Oh, wouldn't that be
Sounds
weird?
like a Netflix, like
Yes,
Black
it
Mirror
does.
kind of.
Yes, it does sound like
situation.
Black
Maybe
Mirror.
a new show for
100
WNEP
grand a
Plus.
donut.
A show for WNEP Plus.
So if anyone has the funding for this
Yes.
show, someone's got to pony
You
up.
gotta
all
back
the-
it up.
All the money.
Maybe Travis
Right,
has
though,
the funding.
If you just open up a vault and there's 100 grand, just one donut.
Yeah.
And
It's
10
gonna be
pounds.
But
Ours
10
are more-
pounds. You'd
because-
have to gain 10 pounds with the donut.
Right. But then you know your kids, your family members, they're going to find out and they're going to be like, Dad, I need a new car.
come
Oh, what about your kids that want to buy a house and it's
Just
too
one donut,
expensive?
Dad.
We're going to get married. My new girlfriend and I were together 5 years. We want to get married. We need a down payment on a house. Just have a donut.
Yeah.
And I think
Just 10
you're-
pounds.
You
10
think,
pounds.
but probably immediately in your mind, you're going to be like, all right, 10, but I can do 20. 20's not that
It's not that
big.
bad. And pretty soon you're doing 30.
Yeah.
Yes.
And then the more you get, the harder it is
And
to
I
work
know-
it off.
Yes.
Right.
And you're right with my wife is definitely going to find some lake house somewhere. And she's
Right.
going to be like, Joe, just 2 donuts.
Just 2.
Just 2, 3 donuts.
Yep.
And we have this
Fine.
nice.
But then maybe you'll have gained like 30 pounds and then you'll start going on Ozempic. And then you'll be
Then
like,
you need
oh,
another donut to pay for
To pay for
Ozempic.
the
that's true.
Ozempic.
That's true. It is expensive. So
There's no way out of this.
No. This was a good
Travis-
one.
It's really the only way to lose weight's working out, so Ozempic wouldn't work.
that's true.
But 10 pounds is a
couldn't-
lot.
It is a lot.
It's a lot.
Yeah.
Oh, dude,
Yeah.
you're scaring me.
Trav.
Well done, Trav.
He's opened up a Pandora's box of donuts.
Yes.
I am going all the way to the bottom.
Oh, good. Because, you know, I think.
I'm going to make a mess in the
No, that's all right.
That's all right. We'll clean you up.
That could be an oldie. I mean, this is like sedimentary layers. That could be Precambrian.
February, so it's not that old.
Okay.
Quite Precambrian.
All right. This is from Travis.
Listen, they're not all from Travis.
Is this the same
He has his own
Travis?
separate bag because I
All
try
right.
to just sprinkle them in.
I drive through the Lehigh Tunnel a lot. I've thought about what would happen if one of the tiles fell off the ceiling and hit my windshield, which makes me think, why are they even tiles up there? Until my son asked me today if we were going through the square tunnel or round tunnel, did I notice there's different shapes? North is square with falling tiles from the ceiling, and southbound is round. Why the different shapes?
I do have the answer to that.
You did a
I do
wham
too.
I
cam.
was
That
gonna say,
one
we
I
did a
know,
wham
yeah.
cam.
Yeah.
Because one was earlier, later, 2 different contractors. I think that's the only answer, right?
I think the newer one, they
Is this-
they used one of those drilling machines.
And it was the circular
So
one.
it's circular. So
Yeah.
that's how it digs the hole. It just plows through with a giant bit.
Because it
As-
used to be all the lanes went through one side.
Yes, and that was the square one. And I've asked this question. It's funny he brings it up. I've asked this to people every time I'm in the tunnel. I bring this up. Do you guys ever look up at the ceiling?
Every time because I think about the tile thing.
Half
Yes.
the
Like Travis
tiles are
does.
gone.
Yeah.
So why don't you ever hear in the news, like our news,
Yes.
that someone's car got hit with a tile? There's always car. They're not dropping
But
on.
are they like legit tile, or are they some sort of like
Like foamy,
Yeah,
composite, or
right.
something.
I don't know.
Oh,
Are they more
I don't
like
know.
I don't like I don't want to say asbestos because
You're right.
think
So
they're
if
not.
it's something
but
light
like
and
that,
fluffy,
like
it falls. I'm picturing like a hard ceramic bathroom tile.
I think there's sound.
And if one of those fell when you're going 60 miles an hour,
Yeah,
it's
that would be
a
bad.
huge hazard.
So yeah, that would be such a hazard that I bet they wouldn't do that, right?
So maybe Shawn has the answer. Maybe it's not what we
But then
think
again,
it is.
when
But
you
they
go
look
through
shiny
like the
tiles.
Holland Tunnel and the Lincoln
They're
Tunnel,
tiles.
those are tiles, right?
Yeah, but then half of them aren't missing. For some reason, Lehigh, half of them look like they're chipped
I feel
off.
like the Lincoln Tunnel, there's missing tiles.
There's some missing tiles, yeah.
Well, what's your...
I don't know. We need somebody from PennDOT to answer this question.
why are tunnels so exciting too?
What, tiles?
They are.
Or
No,
not?
tunnels.
The element of danger that you have.
And why do my
Bajillion tons of rock above
My
you.
kids do a countdown as we're approaching the Lehigh Tunnel.
Wait a minute, you're right, though.
When we go around the little curve and we're about to go in, 10, 9, 8.
You're right.
So excited going into it.
And not only that, it breaks up the trip. It's like, oh, yeah, the tunnel's only 5 miles away.
And once you get through the Lehigh Tunnel, then
You
the
think
trip
you're
seems
somewhere
half over.
else.
And this time of year, you can go into the Lehigh Tunnel and be in no color anywhere. And you come out the other side and there's leaves on the trees.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and that's because
weird.
it's the last ridge in the Appalachian Ridge and Valley Province. So literally, when you come out of that last ridge, you're on a flat area, and there's less
whole different climate,
orographic
pretty
lift,
much.
A whole different climate, less elevation, temperature differences, and downsloping of air, so you have warmer temperatures.
But why do my children try to hold their breath throughout the entire tunnel? It's too long.
Wait, Shawn may have an answer here. Ceramic tile is an advantageous material in road and railway tunnels to provide the tunnel walls with a durable surface layer that is easy to maintain and adds additional protective quality. Ceramic tile is
even
made to
ceramic.
withstand anything thrown at it, resistant to cracking, chipping, staining, and denting.
But I think that would do
That
something
would
to your
say it's
car.
ceramic.
Ceramic
Yeah.
tile is what it's the internet says.
Do you guys know what I mean, though? There's a lot
Yeah.
missing.
Yes.
I would think a ceramic tile
Half of them
falling
are
on
missing.
your car would do something.
Yeah.
But I've never seen like debris
Yeah,
of the
right.
tiles along the road. You know that one fell overnight or something like that, and there's still the
Well, that's because they
debris.
usually stick right into your windshield. And then
we need a PennDOT representative.
We do. What happens if, or maybe they've taken them off throughout the years, or
The
they've.
loose ones? They're
Yeah.
still gonna
We're
be
not
around.
experts, Travis.
No,
Sorry,
we don't know.
but you
Good
have
question.
us intrigued.
We need an answer, so future episode, we're going to get an answer. I'm telling you.
Are you calling
Ceramic
PennDOT? I'll remind you.
Joe is not calling PennDOT.
I'll remind you.
That would
ne-
take too long.
next Wednesday.
And you'd have to get a government response.
Oh, yes. It would be an official document.
All
and
the
it would
red
be-
tape.
oh,
You don't have time for that.
This one's
I have
timely.
to press the buttons on the phone. I don't have that kind of time.
Doesn't even have time to press the buttons
Your
on the
call is
phone.
important to us. Please stay on the line.
All right, what do you got for us, Sean?
All right, this one's from Derek from Mountaintop, and he asks, "What's your favorite Easter candy?"
Oh,
Appropriate is
so
this one?
relevant.
So, Shawn, you're starting us off here, Big Daddy.
A lot of people in my family would say Peeps, only because there's like a video of me as a child.
Speaking
with,
of the
like,
Lehigh
an
Valley.
entire pack of Peeps on my mouth,
Oh,
saying
that's
Happy
so good.
Easter.
Oh, that's awesome.
wait,
We want to
how old
see
are
this.
That, everybody gets me Peeps
Okay.
every year, but I don't really love Peeps.
Shouldn't we put that video over top of
If I
Yeah,
can
we
find
need
it.
to put that in.
If I
so,
can find it.
so it's
I'm like,
a-
oh, boop, boop.
How old are you?
3.
And just a mouthful of
Yeah,
Oh,
it's like an entire
cute.
like sleeve.
And then that became a thing.
And then all of a sudden, it's like Peeps every year. Here's your Peeps. So maybe that's why I'm not like a huge fan of
You're not
Peeps. I
Peeps
like
guy.
Peeps. I'm just not like probably like the little chocolate or that's what it is. The Reese's peanut butter eggs.
Oh, those are so good.
The thing with the Peeps
Yes.
is no one can say they really like Peeps. It's just like campy. It's
Yeah.
it's shaped like a little chicken. The eyes are always messed up. It's made here in the Lehigh Valley. There's something campy about it. You know what
But
I mean?
even growing up in Iowa, we had Peeps. So
Did
even
you have
though
our
they're
Peeps from here?
Oh yeah, I grew up
Oh.
with Peeps. Yeah,
and then
definitely.
you eat them and you think you're eating a chicken and you're biting the head off. It's just
It's fun to roast them.
Yeah.
I don't usually think that, but
You don't do that? I purposely bite the head off and I think I'm Ozzy Osbourne like you spit it out on the stage.
You need a bat.
I was gonna say,
Forget the Peep.
Wait for Halloween for the bat Peeps.
Yes.
Right.
My mom used to get me, same as you, Shawn, you said the peanut butter and chocolate. She used to get me an egg every year, even when I was an adult. So I
Aw.
get my own Easter egg from my mom, and it was chocolate and peanut butter gooey inside. Nothing's better than that.
Oh,
It's the best.
that's so good. That's really sweet.
I know.
She was such an amazing lady. I was thinking about it. I love the robin's eggs that are like Whoppers. I always look forward to
forgot about
those.
You're right.
Yeah.
They
I
have
love those.
They're very unique, and they only come out like it seems like that time of year.
Yeah.
They're all pastel colored.
Yeah, I love those. And that's one thing, my 17-year-old, since she's the only one left at home, she was like, I don't need anything this year. Just the robin's eggs and a Gertrude Hawk bunny. That's all that I want. It's fine. But
Well, you guys would get a lot more. You get like
Oh, yeah. And we
toys
do a
gifts.
whole, like I told you, a whole scavenger hunt with rhyming poetry and stuff. So
brats.
they're totally spoiled. Absolutely. But as far as like my favorite, I have to say I do love the peanut butter chocolate eggs too.
It's the greatest combination.
Yeah, for Easter candy. Yeah, but I always, as a kid, I always looked forward to the bunny. And I didn't care if it was the cheapest darn hollow bunny.
The hollow ones,
The
and it's
hollow
always
bunny.
cheap tasting.
Yes,
chocolate.
I
What
loved
is
it.
that?
I loved the little cottontail story on the back and all the.
You're
you
not
know.
disappointed when it's hollow?
No, I liked it. I don't know why.
How about that chocolate? It's bad, isn't it?
The
I mean,
really
I guess
cheap
it depends
ones.
on who the
When you
maker
get
is.
the
yeah.
Gertrude Hawk ones, they're really, really good.
Yeah, but they're not hollow, are they? I think
No,
they're
some of them are
Oh,
hollow.
okay.
Yeah. Hmm.
Now,
Yeah,
John,
Rudy,
we're-
the Rudy bunny.
But I think we're 3 for 3
I
with
think
chocolate
it's
and
gonna
peanut
be the
butter.
Sweep.
Oh, really?
gonna be a
Chocolate, peanut butter,
sweep.
eggs, yeah. And it's funny because I've never really just liked chocolate. So I would get the chocolate bunny, and I didn't really like it. So my brother would eat that one. And then
That was so
eventually the
nice
Easter
of
bunny
you.
started bringing me a white chocolate bunny.
Oh,
Did you
no,
like
that's
that?
a whole different subject.
Did you
Just
like
the
that
white
better?
stuff that's not good.
I
is
did.
it?
I
You
like white
the
chocolate.
He likes white
You're
chocolate.
just saying that for attention.
No, I'm not.
You can't like white chocolate over chocolate chocolate.
And I don't like chocolate that much.
Weird.
I know.
What?
Something's wrong with me. But I like chocolate with peanut butter.
Yeah.
I
Do you
should
like
get
white
the-
chocolate with peanut butter?
No.
Interesting.
White
You
chocolate.
should try
No
it.
one likes that.
I do.
I don't
used
know
to
if
get
we can be
those white-
co-anchors
what were the-
anymore.
I know. I can't.
We can't be.
They were like
It's a
Hershey
deal
bars, but they were
breaker in
white.
friendship.
all the different things.
It's
This
like a
is
piece
it.
of- yes.
We found
I'm
it.
with
Were
Mindi.
they like the Alpine white? Like they were almost like a Hershey bar, but they're just white chocolate. I used to eat those all the time. That was
Really?
Yeah, but you didn't prefer that like he does.
You must have if you chose
good.
that
I
as
liked
a
them.
kid.
Or the cookies and cream one.
The cookies and cream's really
You're
good.
saying there's a Hershey bar in front of you and just some white chocolate.
I'm going to pick the white chocolate.
He's kidding around.
There's something wrong. There's like
This is like if I heard my friend is selling fraudulent insurance to senior citizens. I can't be his friend anymore.
it's a little different
can't
than
be your
scamming
friend
senior
anymore.
citizens.
I can't be your friend anymore.
And it's not even chocolate. It's like
ripping off
just cocoa butter. I think.
seniors.
I can't be your friend. How could you? White chocolate over chocolate.
It is
Wow.
weird.
That's bizarre.
How do you feel
I
about
really,
That was so
I
polarizing.
really
He's doing it
hit
for
a nerve.
attention. He's doing it to be different.
I don't think so. I think he's being honest.
Hershey's chocolate.
I'm doing it for attention.
How about kisses? Like a handful of kisses.
Oh.
You're gonna go with little white.
I don't like Hershey Kisses.
Oh, really?
Unless if they're on a peanut butter
You
cookie.
are from
Or they're
Pennsylvania,
or they're
sir.
the striped ones that are half white chocolate.
Those are
half
good.
regular chocolate.
Those are good.
You can't say anything bad about Hershey when you're from
I'm not
Pennsylvania.
dissing Hershey. I'm just not a fan of the Kisses.
The kisses are the
Hershey
best.
makes white chocolate.
And Hershey makes Reese's.
Yeah, that's
So.
true. Well, no, okay, so
Uh-oh.
Hershey bought Reese's
So now they
from
make
the
Reese's.
they do make it now. You're right, but back in the day, somebody else created it.
Okay.
Who lived in Hershey? Isn't that weird?
Oh.
This
I
whole
learned
thing is
all about
weird.
it. I learned all about this on a podcast I listened to about Reese's.
Oh,
and
really?
Hershey.
I learned
Yeah,
about
it's
it
a fantastic
on the
backstory,
tour on the tour of Hershey, Pennsylvania.
There's a Hershey movie coming out.
Oh, that's right.
What's the story of
is-
Milton?
actually. Yeah.
Get out of here.
Yes, I'm curious about that.
I would
Like
definitely
Hollywood
love
movie.
to see that. Hollywood
is-
movie.
Yeah.
Because now he has the school and he's a giver.
Why
and
are
he's a-
we not having cameos in this movie? We should have. I mean, did they film it here?
Like, what
In,
would-
like
know.
what would
Hershey?
we even
I think
do?
it's
What
just
do you
starting.
mean?
You just want to be in it?
I just want to be in it.
It would be John Mayer down there looking at all the chocolate going, I don't like
Yeah.
this.
No one's
I don't like-
no one's gonna eat this crap.
Yeah, what's the big deal?
What's the big
That'd
deal?
be telling him that.
Well, he started out. You guys know what candy he started out with, right? That he wanted to create.
Who, Milton or John?
Milton.
Milton. What?
Do you know?
No.
Caramel. He was going to make caramels.
That was the first thing he
That
wanted
was
to
the
do?
first thing, and it totally bombed. It didn't work out.
So how do you know
he
the
had to get
history of all
closer?
this?
Because I went to Hershey and did the tour.
I never paid attention to the tour.
You
That
didn't have
takes
time
too much
for
time
it.
for you.
Oh, just I don't know. Oh, I
So,
never knew that.
it's very
So
interesting.
before that, was there chocolate? Chocolate existed,
Not
right?
chocolate that was for the people. Not that was a widely
Is
distributed.
that right?
distributed.
So
yeah.
he's really the...
He's the one who really created the candy bar that went out to everybody.
God.
And also before that, more chocolate was like you would drink it more than eat it often. It was like a drink. So anyway,
Who knew?
I'm fascinated by
learning a lot.
chocolate.
Who knew?
Fascinated.
Is it my turn? Did I even go
I
yet?
think it's Sean's turn.
No, Sean went.
you
Is it
just-
no,
No,
I
you
was
did
the Easter candy.
Okay.
Yeah, so, you're up
So
there.
it is.
Are we still
How
on
did we
Easter
go from
candy?
Sean
We
to
were going to go
Mindi?
fast, and we're not going fast
We
at
went
all.
Mindi?
We got good question.
I think I missed, didn't I?
No, we're
you
only on
had
the
one.
fourth question.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's you.
But I'm saying we usually go in like a clockwise order or such. We're
We
all
went-
over the place.
Mindy, me, Sean,
yeah,
you.
We went
Okay,
clockwise,
Mindi.
yeah.
Pay attention.
Clockwise in the northern hemisphere. Anne Blasco wants to know, I'm so inspired by your backyard garden
Oh.
that I purchased a set of wooden beds for my backyard deck. I listen nightly to your planning suggestions and advice. This must be for more
Kurt, yeah.
I'm wondering about the initial setup of the garden. Do you line the bottom of the box with anything? I'm thinking about using a weed block to prevent the dirt from flushing through, although I'm also making clay. If you have any advice. Oh, what do you have for Miss
I
Ann?
don't know if we can help with that much, right? Have you done raised boxes like that?
I could see
Not
Mindy being a
really.
raised boxer.
I'm not a
think
raised boxer.
With the wooden ones, you would generally line it with
You need something
like
that's
a weed
porous.
guard or something that would still like protect the wood and if it has
let water
gaps
go
and
through,
stuff,
yeah.
You
the
need
dirt
the
would
water
fall,
to
but
actually go through
Drain.
also and drain.
It has
so
to
that
drain.
would. There's
Yeah.
like a fabric you can. There's actually liners you can buy that are the shape of raised beds.
There you go, Ann. You got all these options. This reminds me of something that's going on at my house. Do you guys think I kill a lot of plants
You're not a flower
On
guy.
purpose.
because I'm an overwaterer,
Oh, that's right.
and my daughter yells at me.
Are these the indoor plants?
Yes. Every Saturday, I go around the whole house and I water. She has plants. My wife had plants everywhere, and I overlove them and I water them too much. Why are you shaking your head?
Because that's not good.
I know.
You should let them water their own plants.
They don't.
Oh.
They don't. That's the
So it's
problem.
on you.
So it's a part of my ritual: cleaning toilets, watering plants, and they say I overwater them. So what's a correct plan for watering
Well,
plants?
what if you just get the ball that has the water and then it just sort
Yeah,
of
you could do that.
The what?
takes
Self-watering.
what it needs? There's like
I've
those glass
seen those.
balls
I
that you
have those things.
can-
No,
No.
I hate those things. That's funny you say that.
I think plants do better underwatered than they do overwatered.
That's
So
what
you're
I'm being
better off. You're
told.
better off
What do you
stressing them out.
Stressing them out. Then
I'll
giving
go
them
around
too
and I'll
much
just
of-
touch the dirt, and if it's dry, all right, it needs water.
So what would you say it is? It's different for every plant, of course, but is
Kind
is a week every week too much?
I
In the
wouldn't
wintertime,
think
it's
so.
every week.
That's what I'm
'Cause
trying to
the
stick
heat's
with the
going
schedule.
the heat's
Yeah.
going so much, but now it gets to this time of year, it's not as much.
I'm an overwaterer.
That's embarrassing. You're killing plants.
It's
Who's the death of a
embarrassing.
salesman character that loved the bunny so hard he squeezed them to death?
That was the death of a salesman.
Yeah, that was a different
was,
one.
Of Mice and Men?
of Mice and
Of Mice and Men, yeah. I
I
was
know.
thinking of
You
Walter.
love the plant so much. You
Walter
can't-
Lenny.
Loman.
I love so
Lenny.
much.
Lenny
Lenny's the
of
one
Mice
that
and
killed
Men,
him.
yeah.
I can see
Bunny.
me doing that if I love something too much.
Going
I'm just
full
kidding.
Lenny.
Well, isn't that what your daughter does with Jet? Doesn't she squeeze
She loves
him?
them so much. That's
She
my
threw him a
version
big
of what
birthday
I do
party.
to the plants. I want them to thrive and live so much. I water them to death. It's
Here come the
Oh,
glasses.
the glasses! No, what? Wait. I hope everyone is watching this. Not only the glasses. Here's what you need.
What else do I need? The headset?
Now she's
Oh.
got the
There we
headset
go.
and
Oh,
glasses.
it's not.
Now she looks official.
It's not plugged in, but I feel so official.
Oh, you look it too.
I feel so important.
It'll make for a great picture. She's got
Okay.
the headphones and glasses.
Hey, morning crew. I'm not telling you who this is from.
Okay.
Okay.
It's Travis
Yeah, when it
again.
starts, hey, morning crew.
I
You already
see.
Hey,
missed
morning
it.
crew.
There you go.
Wow.
Go get that.
I
It's a
spaced-
plant hydrometer.
Oh, this is interesting.
Get that thing. That would take too
Go
much
around
time and
dipping
money.
in all your plants.
Hey, morning crew. Who is your GOAT? I'm not talking about Michael Jordan. I'm talking about news anchors, meteorologists, reporters, and if Sean is there, which he is, media people or digital media people.
The greatest of all time.
Greatest of all time.
Yeah.
There we
who-
go.
Now I can't hear you guys, so I have to take these off.
All right. So, Mindy, it's your question.
Who's my GOAT?
Is this like an admirer thing, or who do you?
So this would be like us picking the anchor
That we
or news
love
person that we
the
think
most.
was the best.
Look at Mindy. She's thinking. She doesn't have anything right off the bat.
Yeah,
She's
no,
thinking. She's rubbing her
there's
ears.
different people I like.
She's scratching her neck. She's over. She's grabbing a chin.
You know, but it's interesting because she's a meteorologist, but I love her.
Give it to me.
I love Ginger Z. I think she's so great. I think she does so many things to help the environment and get out the word about that. And the fact that she's buying all used clothes. She hasn't bought anything new for over 2 years.
Oh, I did not know this.
And I think that's so cool.
But I think she has roots in a broadcast journalism degree at first. She
She
did
does,
one of
yeah.
those online things. I believe so.
Maybe so, but she's
Yeah.
been interested in meteorology since she
Yeah.
was little and lived on Lake Michigan.
Yeah. So,
So,
that's interesting.
yes.
So what? I don't pay attention. What? She's just a good person. You feel?
I really like her style. I like, yeah, and I think she's excellent at what she does. She's very charismatic.
I think the name's a big part. Ginger Z is fun to
And
say.
I
that's
wonder
not
if that's
her
her real name.
That's
No?
not her real name. She's her father is from the Netherlands, and so her real name is, I think, Zundquist or something like that. It's a Dutch name that might be hard for some people to say.
Interesting. Ginger
Yeah.
Z. I know John's. It's going to be like, I like Tom Brokaw.
There
I
it
like
is.
Walter
you
Cronkite.
go.
Oh, are you being
Oh,
serious?
God.
I just made that up.
Definitely.
Are you being serious?
Definitely.
Oh, man. Brokaw.
Even though he's a mumbler, you still like him.
Tom Brokaw was, when I was like 8 years old and would watch the news, I
loved
loved
him too.
watching Tom Brokaw,
Yeah.
and he was one of the ones that I decided I want to do that someday.
Bro, and Mindy thinks he's a mumbler.
Well, he is a mumbler,
Yeah,
but
he's
he's
a
very
real-
good.
But he,
and I grew up watching
yeah,
him too. Yeah.
He-
Well, do your best Tom Brokaw now.
I can't. No.
He's very
It'd be disrespectful.
Well, oh my God! It's like I have a
yeah.
picture of Jesus here or something. You're
I got, like, when I was in high school, my grandma got me a script, like, from the newscast that he signed and stuff like that, and I was so excited.
Oh, that's so
That's
funny.
another part of this. You followed your dreams, and here
Followed
you
my dreams,
are,
and here I am.
Tom Brokaw.
Yeah. I'm not quite to Tom Brokaw's level, but I did.
I mean,
follow my dreams.
almost.
Sean's is going to be like Steve Jobs.
No. Guglielmo Marconi. He invented the wireless telegraph.
Of the, I was going to say the inventor.
The inventor of the wireless telegraph. What do you say, Joe? I'm going to leave it at that. I'm not going to explain.
All right.
I'm not.
I've been to Marconi Beach. I
you
would just
go.
like to say.
How about you, Joe?
I don't really. I never think about
No
such things.
meteorologist. This
I
the
don't
goat.
think so. No,
Yeah,
like I
no,
used to
if you
like
like that-
Willard Scott. I loved him when I was a kid. He's not even a meteorologist. He was just a lot of fun on TV.
Yeah.
Willard Scott, do you
But
remember him?
Yeah. you like,
Do the birthdays
I
and
loved
birthdays.
because I used to watch the Today Show all the time too, and I loved Willard
Yeah,
Scott.
but if you're thinking of like a Jim Cantori or something, no.
I thought you loved Jim Cantor.
No, because all weather people, and this is my flaw, they like to dramatize and emphasize the bad stuff, and I hate doing that. So I can't. That's why Willard Scott was just fun and goofy,
Right.
but he wasn't a real meteorologist. So, but no, I mean, I like David Letterman. He was a weather guy, but all those kind of guys. I'm not going to pick someone in my career. No, my idol of all time is Carl Sagan.
yeah,
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
Carl Sagan is the correct answer.
Yes, that's true. What about what's his name?
Ooh, give me
The guy that I went to see. Remember Neil?
Oh, Neil deGrasse Tyson.
Yeah.
Also, yeah, he's
Yeah.
up there. Good. Yeah,
He was good.
I'm going to pick those two then.
Yeah.
Carl Sagan and Neil deGrasse Tyson.
Pretty cool.
was
Science
Carl
pioneers.
Sagan millions and millions?
Yeah,
of
Carl
Yes.
Sagan. He had the Cosmo show in the
Yeah.
70s, but he was an astrophysicist and just a deep thinker.
Nice.
A great guy. Great
John,
guy.
it's your turn. That was a Travis
That's
question.
too serious. We got to mix it up here, Trav. I want to go back to the $1,000 or $100,000.
Travis's name,
You might have to
Don't
pick
read it.
another.
Don't- I put them in the spare Travis
Yeah,
bucket.
we love Travis, but he can't have the whole show.
John, 2 donuts.
It's not Travis.
2 donuts, John, for $200,000. Come on.
And 20
So am
pounds.
I nuts? The temperature 50 to 60 feels different in early spring versus summer. In spring, it feels colder. Is it the wind direction or something else? Thanks.
We've had this similar
Suzanne.
question before. So he's saying
She's saying that the 50 to 60 feels colder in the spring than in the summer. I wouldn't think that.
Which I would think is the opposite.
spring than in the summer. Is that what she says? I thought, the
Is
classic
the temperature
scenario,
50 to 60 feels different in early spring versus summer. In spring, it feels colder. Is it the wind direction or something like that?
Well, so we all know the classic scenario. If it's 50 in January, it feels
It's warm.
And if
Yeah.
it's 50 in summer, it feels cold. So it's a little bit of perspective, right?
Mm-hmm.
But we talked about this last time. What does it take to make 50 degrees in the winter? You need a warm air mass coming from the south. So it's going to be a south wind. It's going to have a lot of moisture in it, and it's going to feel warmer. What does it take to make 50 in the summer? You need a cold air mass coming from the north, and they're usually dry. So that makes skin evaporate its moisture. You feel cooler. So, yes, it has to do with wind direction, humidity, and where the air mass is coming from.
Interesting.
Temperature is more than just what you feel. As we know,
Yes.
68 is freezing to my wife, and 68 is hot to me.
That's true.
So it's all about personal preference too, but that has a lot to do with the moisture and the wind direction and perspective. Oh, Sean's laughing already. It's a good sign. 2 donuts for $1 million. No.
I don't know. Was this discussed on the show or something? Maybe.
Short
This
and
is
sweet.
from Tanya from Nanacoke. What is a starberry?
Starberry.
We may have to edit this. What if this is something weird and perverted? I never heard that
Yeah,
term in
we've-
my life. Starberry.
Starberry.
We'll make Sean look it up so we don't have to.
She's messing
Yeah, if
with
you
us.
Google it, you'll get all the things in your
She's messing
Yes.
with
Facebook
us.
feed.
Is it my turn?
Yeah.
She's messing with us. Starberry.
Never heard of it.
I heard of Star Child. I heard of, isn't that one of the members of KISS? Who's the Star Baby? Star Child.
Their starberries is a Native American name for blueberries. So starberries
Oh.
are
So
She's
blueberries.
being serious.
So
Oh, we
starberries
thought
are
this was a
blueberries.
weird question.
So at the
I
top
wonder
of the
why they're
blueberry
named
has a little star. The
Oh my
little
gosh,
peta,
they do.
peta,
Oh,
peta,
so
That's it.
That makes total sense. Yeah.
Wow.
There you go.
The things you learn. It looks like a little star when you look at
Yes,
it.
totally.
Starberry.
funny.
She messing with the stuff?
No, I don't think she's
It
messing
says
with
the
us.
blossom end of blueberries
Yeah.
form a perfect 5-point star. That's why they
little
called them
fi-
starberries.
It forms a perfect star?
Well, I mean, says
Star
the internet.
Now I want to look at blueberries.
I've been getting a lot of these in the weather office. This is for us, but it says March seems like it's the windiest month of the year. Is it because of the equinox? So we all know the answer to that.
No.
The equinox has nothing to do with wind.
Right.
I mean, but
Can I
but-
guess what it is?
Yeah, here we go. Not guess. This is going to be the answer. I know you're going to hit it. You're going to nail it.
Is it because of the battle between the warm and the cold in
Yeah. So
in
what
March?
makes wind? Let's
The temperature.
let's
Temperature differences?
Is that it?
I thought it was.
Is it?
No?
Is it more than that?
Oh dear, I don't
Oh,
know.
boy.
Pressure differences are caused by temperature differences. So let's say you have Mindy at home hairspray in a can. Do we have hairspray in a can?
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So it's pressurized. So as soon as you hit the nozzle, all the pressurized air wants to leave. It goes from where there's more to where there's less. So the atmosphere does the same thing. It goes to where there's more air to where there's less air. So when the air is warm, it expands and it creates sometimes less air, and where it contracts, there's more air. But I know you guys are getting bored. The moral of the story is, I guess you're right, in the long run. In the spring, there's a lot of temperature differences throughout the country. Jet stream is still retreating. That causes temperature differences, causes pressure differences, and a lot of wind. If you go to the equator, not so much. It's always warm, less wind, just tropical, moist. And if you go to the North Pole, picture it, Antarctica. No wind also, just cold, dense
Isn't
air.
Antarctica the South Pole?
Well, as I said,
Oh.
you go to the Arctic or Antarctica,
I see.
where it's always cold, there's not a lot of wind. Where it's always warm, there's not a lot of wind.
Okay.
It's in
It's those
between.
differences.
Temperature
Okay.
causes pressure differences, and spring is classic for these battles to take place. I love it.
Cool.
Good question.
Is that
Starberry.
Now it's back to you, Mindy.
I feel like you
Wow.
guys are bored by the science question, so we have
No,
to
I
move through
love-
those
I'm
quick.
intrigued.
Yeah.
Sean's lying?
I'm not.
Do you really use hairspray then? Like,
Yeah, I use hairspray. Of course I do.
oh, what does it just cause like a sticky?
Yeah, it just keeps your hair in place.
Glasses.
You seem like you're mad at that. Now you put
No,
the
I'm
glasses
just-
back on.
Well, I can't read otherwise.
What is it? Want me to bring in the mini Bible next week? See if we can read
Make
that.
me feel better. Yeah.
You ever see them? I mean, they're.
Oh, they're so tiny.
Do you train like every day you go home in like 30 minutes? You just train your eyes.
Oh, I've seen them at a gift shop once, and I was like, "My God, it's a mini Bible."
It doesn't have all the words in it, right? It can't possibly.
Could it, Sean, have all the words in it, John?
No. It probably is just
never
one.
know.
Because if you squeeze it down, wouldn't it be this thick?
Yeah, it's probably just like one chapter. Probably
The
just have like
writing's really
Genesis.
It's like it's a novelty item.
Yes, it's not
It's like
real.
when you go somewhere and they write your name on a grain of rice.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Okay,
Well, I did read
Tanya.
through the book of Deuteronomy.
Is this Tanya
in
from
a little
Nanacoke
mini.
again?
This is Tanya from Nanacoke. She's as
We're
bad
getting
as
a lot of
Travis.
frequent flyers.
Yeah. Okay.
Tanya, keep
No
it coming,
offense,
baby.
Tanya, of course.
No.
Why is it only a penny for your thoughts, but when you want unwanted advice, it's 2 cents?
Oh,
That's actually a
now
good
we're
point.
getting into wham cam territory.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Penny
Yeah.
for your thoughts.
Penny for your thoughts.
Or here's my 2 cents.
Here's my
my
2 cents.
What's the origin of here's my 2 cents? What the heck is going on with that? Good wham cam
That is a good question. And she sent it on April Fool's Day.
Origin of here's
Because my 2 cents is unsolicited, therefore it would cost you more than if you were to ask somebody for their opinion. It would only cost you a penny.
You think so?
I don't know. Just making it up.
Origin of my 2 cents. The idiom my 2 cents, meaning a humble or tentative opinion, likely originated from the English idiom to put in my 2 pennyworth. Penny for your thoughts. So something with 2 penny. 2 penny. TWOPENNY. One word. The early cost of postage in England. That's it. Here's my
Here's
2
my 2
cents
cents.
because you needed 2 penny to buy a stamp in England back in the day.
Wow.
Wow.
It all goes back to stamps. I'm going to use that in Wham-Cam. That's a good one.
That is a good one.
Thanks, Tanya. All right, digging
Sean,
deep.
I'm
no
still-
Travis, no Tanya.
No, I'm still thinking about the donuts.
You want a donut or
I just look back at all the donuts I have eaten in my life and
Wish you had
wishing I had
$100,000.
$100,000 for each of those.
But I'd eat.
All right, this one's been in here a while. Mike from Hanover Township has a few questions. Number 1, what is the proper way to pronounce applicable?
Oh, because some people
Applicable.
say applicable.
Applicable.
There's 2 versions right there. Sean's looking it up.
no? It's definitely
Oh, the
applicable.
rest you don't want to read. It's
That's
something.
it. We've crossed out the other ones. So that was
I
his
think-
last one.
I think
Can I pick
he-
another one?
Yeah.
Yeah, that wasn't a good one.
There's no rule. There's fine. Then you're criticizing the questions.
I am.
Well, you applicable or applicable?
It's obviously applicable.
It is applicable.
I
Yeah.
would say applicable.
Mindy's like, do better, Mike.
Applicable.
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 It's obviously applicable.
This
I
is
don't know
similar
if
to
it's
what we had
obvious.
before, but a
I don't
little
know if it's
different, I
obvious.
guess.
Are you saying the questions are getting bad, folks?
No.
See,
We love our questions.
We love the questions.
Derek and Mountaintop. Who's the one celebrity you've always wanted to meet?
Oh, same thing. That's a
Oh.
double. Same thing.
Same kind of thing.
Although now we're into celebrity.
Celebrities, yeah. I would kind of like to meet. Oh, I'm sorry. You go first. I'm sorry.
Tom Brokaw.
It's your question. Yeah.
I mean,
you-
I would have liked to meet Tom Brokaw.
yeah.
Now, someone who's a celebrity? I don't know. I can't think of someone off the top of my head.
Not the
Because
Kardashians.
most,
or-
most
I'm
celebrities
not-
are like annoying.
Yeah, I'm not really into celebrities.
Who's your favorite singer?
I don't know if I have a favorite.
Mindy, he's too classy for this.
I guess so.
He's a white chocolate guy.
No, I never
He's
really thought
eating
about
white
it either.
chocolate. He's eating white chocolate at his
Sean, there's nobody you
cabin
wanna
in the
meet?
woods. He
Yeah,
has no
I'm
time
thinking
for
about
this.
it. I've never just been like, oh man, someday I hope I
Yeah.
meet. Or what. I don't know if I've ever.
I told you one of my stories. One of my favorite musical artists is Jackson Brown. So someone gave me backstage passes to see Jackson Brown. This was like 15 years ago. So I was holding before the show. You get to meet him, and I was holding this backstage pass, and it was like a scene in a movie. And the door was right there, and there was a guy in front of it, and I was with my wife, and I'm like, no, and I didn't do it.
How come?
Because I felt his pain. He doesn't want to talk to me.
I was just about
Oh.
to say the same thing.
And I'm thinking, what am I going to say?
Right.
And then I just said no. I'm sparing him of me, and I didn't do it.
Oh, that's
So I had
so
a chance
funny.
to meet one of my artist heroes, and I'm thinking, no. The poor guy's in there. No one wants to do that. It must have been some promotional thing for the record company.
Maybe he gets excited when he knows that people are such huge fans. You know?
I'm telling you, it was a shake. It was a look at the ticket, and then a dramatic
Wow.
no.
It's funny, though. I was
Wow.
going to say the same thing, that even if I had someone I wanted to meet, I don't know if I would want to do it. I think it'd be awkward.
Oh, for that thing. They say
That
never meet your heroes, right?
Yeah.
I
It's
think it'd be
true.
awkward. That person probably really doesn't
They don't
want to
wanna
meet me. Like, yeah.
I don't know.
The one.
Is there someone for you?
Well, I was just telling my family.
Gordon Ramsay?
No, that's my uncle. I already know him. I was just telling my family the other day that I would like to meet.
This is going to be bad. This is going to be embarrassing. Put on the glasses. Look at she's doing. I'm just kidding. Here we
And
go.
that
We're-
phone.
And the headphones.
All right, we're ready.
Look at the one.
I would kind of like to meet William Shatner.
Oh,
Captain
that's
Kirk.
a great
No,
one.
that's a-
Oh, you don't think
No,
that's,
that's a good
silly? I mean, because we saw that he was at the Star Trek Museum in Ticonderoga, New York, but it was like $500-600 to get to meet him and get your picture with him, and I'm like, I'm not going to spend that much money to do that, but I would love to meet him.
I just listened to a bunch of podcasts over the years with him. He is an unbelievable dude. He's smart. He's 92 or something.
Yeah.
And he acts and talks and like he's 40.
Right. Yeah.
He's vibrant. He doesn't take himself seriously.
And
He's,
some of his other roles have been great, too.
He's an awesome
a really
dude.
good actor.
yeah, and he is an awesome dude. So I'm with Mindy on that one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd like to meet Captain Kirk.
I get it.
Yeah.
He seems like the kind of guy who would want to meet people too, because
He
have fun with
does. He's
everybody.
gregarious. and-
Yeah. See,
Did
Jackson
you have
Brown-
someone, Sean?
No, but one tip from a podcast of his, Dana Carvey said when people come up to him, he prefers when they will, instead of just saying "I love your work," they actually have a specific thing that they really like that he did, because then he feels like it's more of like a connection he's making
Also,
with
he
people.
wants specific things, not just "Oh, you're a great comedian,"
Right.
you're da-da-da-da-da."
Which is fine. Like, I guess he doesn't mind meeting people, but it always makes him feel better when it feels like he's actually done something that they really do.
It's
enjoy.
funny you say that because we're certainly not celebrities like these people that we're talking about, but obviously people know us from the news. I'm amazed since I got on the morning show how I'll be places and that people are specific about, I love this morning when you did such and such and such and such. And it is cool because you're like, they were watching this morning. Like
Yeah,
they were paying
just a few
attention
hours ago.
to, I ate a raw pierogi out in the backyard
Yeah,
or something
yeah.
like that.
Right.
Yeah,
And
that's
that
good.
does make you feel good. It's like, wow.
I like
they
that too.
were- yeah.
I like that specific interaction. You're right.
It is nice to know they're actually watching and they appreciate what they're
Yes.
seeing, and
Yes, yes.
you're making
paying
a
attention
difference.
and all that kind of stuff. So
Yeah.
I can see him saying that. That's
Yeah.
pretty cool.
Yeah.
Woo! All right. How many more questions do we have? And is it nearing the end? Are we?
I don't even know what time
We're
we
about
started.
41 minutes in.
Oh,
40
that
mo-
we're
we
near
usually
the
try to
end.
keep it under 45. Whose
Yeah.
turn is it?
I just did one, right? Or
Whose
I
turn
just-
is it?
I
Come on,
just
we-
did Derek, so it's
Okay,
Sean.
so it's Sean. All right.
Folks, we want to keep your questions coming. Brownbag at WNDP.com.
That was
And
deep.
not always you.
Why do we limit this to 45 minutes? Couldn't we go for a couple hours?
Mindy, we're recording this on a Friday.
I always have to drag Mindy to do this. She's resistant.
Now she
and
wants to stay
she's-
for hours.
There has been talk of doing one for an hour and then splitting into a half-hour segment so it airs every week.
Oh, we could do that.
What's happening? Sorry, I'm reading.
Read the question,
We
Sean.
record one of
How
these
much more
every-
work? Wait, how much more work are you making for me? No.
That's what we're doing.
As soon as you start that, I have to run somewhere and come back with something to end this whole thing. I'm just going to say. All right.
All right, but this is for Joe specifically.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
Better stay
all right,
then.
can't
Here
go
we
anywhere.
All right, so real quick, Mark from Dunmore asks, and I think you did do this. Joe, would you wear a suit and tie someday for the morning broadcast? I'd love to see the reaction you'd get. And shoes too, no sneakers.
I've done that multiple times.
Yes, and it is
Remember-
it is funny.
It is funny. And it's
Yeah.
hard for me to do, I tell you.
Yeah.
It really is.
The one time you did the whole show.
For Halloween, I dressed
Halloween.
up as a...
Yes, as a normal meteorologist.
Yeah, and it's funny how I thought it would be easy, and it bores the hell out of me.
Yeah, us too.
And that morning, viewers were panicking that,
Yes.
oh my gosh, management is
Yeah, they
cracking
were-
down.
They were calling
Joe
in.
Snedeker has to dress up and be a normal meteorologist now. They were calling, they were emailing.
They were so
All the
upset.
joy was just sucked out of
was-
the show.
I'm
Yeah.
not saying being a normal meteorologist is a bad thing, but it just doesn't work for me.
Well, it's not your thing.
Yeah, it's not my thing, so I can't do it. I'm just a weird dude. What could I tell you? Why don't you ask one more question while I run and get something?
All right.
Okay. I wonder what he's going to get.
What?
It could be
Yeah.
anything.
What could he be getting? Maybe some Peeps,
And it's chocolate bunnies,
chocolate bunnies.
Oh,
you
chocolate
want some
bunnies.
bites the ear off of?
a donut. He's
Oh,
looking
it could
for
be a donut. Only if he'll also give me $100,000 too.
Glasses.
Yep, glasses. Okay. Hey, morning crew. Is Canadian bacon actually bacon? Is there any difference between American and Canadian bacon besides shape?
So is a bacon question?
Yeah.
Yeah, is Canadian bacon
Is there anything different?
actually bacon?
That's a great question. Is there?
I think it's the shape. It's
a
just
shape.
round.
What do
Yeah.
you mean shape?
round
It's round.
versus
Isn't
bacon.
Canadian bacon
It's
more
like a
like
disc.
hammy than
I didn't
regular
even know
bacon?
that.
Yeah, I
when you
think
get
so.
one of those round,
That's Canadian
In bacon.
I never even knew that.
Yeah.
Yeah, but now you're borderline ham.
Yeah, it's
Well,
more ham.
It's more
Like,
ham than
is it-
bacon. Yeah,
But
And that's
probably
why
the
he's
cut of
asking:
where
Is it from
comes
the same? Is it from
Yeah.
the same part of the pig?
it's probably different because the bacon is more fatty.
Well, what if you get ham and cut it into strips? Is that bacon now? And fry it.
Probably technically
No,
a lot,
I think
but
it's where it's
similar.
from. Like I think it's the location more than anything. Not
What, the
like,
buttocks?
Not well, yeah. Not from.
You just wanted to say buttocks.
I really
You
did.
did
man.
emphasize that in a certain way
It's like
too.
cuts of beef. or
Did you
like
look it up?
steaks. Well, of course the
We've had to
movie.
Google
Of course
a
the
lot,
movie
man.
is the
Yes, we
first thing
have.
that comes up, which is a classic, by the way.
Canadian
yeah.
bacon.
Yeah.
Oh, funny.
All right. Well, let's end this session while Sean looks it up. But I brought you. I guess you knew what I was on. So look at these are Hershey Kisses. You're telling me honestly, this does not bring you joy to eat one of these.
No, but I would definitely
I
would definitely take that Reese's cup.
Just regular.
Nah.
They're so lovely.
I could
aren't
walk
they?
by that and not need to grab one.
It's a nice little kiss of chocolate.
I love that there are Hershey Kisses. I think they're so cool.
Do you guys see it? Because I told my daughter this the other day, how there's Hershey Kisses in front of our news director's jar.
Yes.
You see how I always go?
All the time.
Yeah.
I can't not do this. I am
Yes.
addicted
You are addicted. Yep.
to chocolate. And that's why I find that. And I went to my daughter's room the other day, and she had a bag of M&Ms. And then I saw it was there. It was in a little dish. And I went back like 2 weeks later, and it was still there, unmoved. And I'm like, Aaliyah, how do you not eat that? She says, I don't know. I don't really care for that.
Oh my
And
gosh.
I can't even comprehend it. I'm like an alcoholic version
Chocoholic.
of chocolate. It's a problem.
Isn't that funny?
He
And
does
that's why
grab one every time he walks by.
I can't not. And for you to say, here, have this.
No thanks.
Wow.
I have the answer on the bacon.
All right.
All right. Good.
And that'll be it.
Although chocolate and bacon do go together, so this is kind of a good way to wrap
do?
it up.
Yeah, they do.
Chocolate covered
Bacon?
bacon.
Oh, yeah.
It's really good.
I don't eat bacon.
So Canadian bacon is actually back bacon.
What
Comes
kind?
from the Canadian bacon is back bacon. Comes from the pork loin, whereas American bacon is from pork belly.
Oh,
So
So that's probably why it's a
interesting.
little more ham-like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What side of the animal's torso?
the loin?
No, I think so. It depends on where you're grabbing the stuff.
Yeah, from the
Yeah,
torso.
it's
Yeah.
from a different location.
Nothing from the buttocks?
No bacon's from the butt. Pork butt is from the
And with
and
that,
pork butt I don't even think is from the butt either. So.
There's one piece left. That's
no thanks.
I can't, Mindy.
If it was white chocolate, he would want it.
You have white chocolate kisses?
Nope.
Kiss my buttocks.
Curiosity. What are you so curious about? Everything, Mr. Curiosity.